Hey there, I hope you're doing well. My name is Adam and today we're going to look at some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy Reddit stories, consider liking, subscribing, and maybe hitting that notification bell too. Let's get started with today's first story. Much love, everyone. Today's first story comes from cheating wife got mad after my revenge left her homeless. In rock bottom, my wife, after 30 years of marriage, has been emotionally aloof for the past half to 3/4 of a year. I finally gathered the courage to ask her if I still brought her joy. She reacted with anger, shocked that I would even ask such a question. She then became even more distant when I tried to bring up the conversation again this week. She bluntly stated that there was no us to discuss. She had consulted a lawyer 2 weeks earlier and needed my financial statement. She's refusing to attend couples therapy. We tried it 15 years ago, but the therapist dismissed her after she refused to acknowledge any areas she needed to work on. I told her that if this is what she truly wants, I would respect it, but I also suggested that after 30 years together, maybe we should consider separation. First, she said, she'd have to consult her lawyer and would only agree if she could terminate the separation at any time. When I asked how we should break the news to our kids, who are 25, 23, 21, 17 and 12, she said they probably wouldn't be surprised. She then moved to a separate bedroom. A week later we took the family out to a sports bar for dinner. Out of nowhere, she announced to the kids, "You might have noticed, I'm not wearing my wedding ring. This marriage is done." 2 of our kids ran out to the parking lot in tears. I followed them to comfort them and then texted her hit a rough patch. Our kids are now avoiding her. We're both in our early 50s and over the past year, she's been on a fitness frenzy, dressing like she's in her 20s, spending 3 hours a day at the beach and going out with friends on weekdays. She's become very socially active. She hasn't worked in 27 years and I've always been the breadwinner for our family. I finally gave in and checked her phone records. She's constantly texting a few guys and girls I've never heard of from early morning till midnight, more texts to the girls than the guys. My wife is a devout Christian and I don't think she's having a physical affair, but I suspect an emotional one. I'm really confused as we seem to be stuck in this uncomfortable limbo. I spoke to a lawyer who advised me not to leave our marital home. I'm a doctor and sometimes I'm away at the hospital for up to 24 hours. But when I'm home she barely speaks to me unless I initiate the conversation. She's very protective of her phone and steps outside to take calls. She hasn't served me with divorce papers. Yet I only checked her phone records after she told me 2 weeks ago that she wanted a divorce. She's been showing all the signs for a year now, tanning, obsessing over her phone, texting, and suddenly finding a new best friend. The phone records confirmed my suspicions, starting with a surge in text in June. Every day there were texts and calls starting in the morning and they'd spend 2 to 3 hours at the beach while the kids were at school, the cherry on top. She was texting this guy while she was telling our kids that she was ending our marriage. When I confronted her with the guy's name, she denied everything, but when I showed her the phone records she claimed they were just beach buddies. This happened right after she painted in church on Sunday. Turns out she'd spent Saturday evening with him. While I was working overnight, I guess the guilt got to her and then she had the audacity to tell me that I needed to leave our home. I told her there was no chance, it's my house and I haven't done anything wrong. I've reached out to my lawyer. How can she kick me out of my own home and away from my kids when she's the one who's been unfaithful and wants to end the marriage? This is really painful. I'm going through a roller coaster of emotions. Anger, sadness, and then relief that I'm not imagining things and my suspicions for the past 6 months were right. I guess the truth does set you free. Oh, and I forgot to mention I drove by his beachfront condo on my way to work at 7:30 and took a picture of her car. I've got my proof, but I need to be careful because of my job. Being in jail isn't an option for anyone, especially not for me. I'm currently at work pulling an overnight shift at the hospital. She's never had to work a day in her life. I've provided everything for her. She even went on 2 cruises this year and 6 weeks after we got back, she turned cold and started seeing this guy. We have 5 kids together. I'm not perfect, but I'm not a bad guy either. I guess I'm just too nice for my own good. What baffles me is how they can deny everything, even when you're showing them the evidence. The look in her eyes was like she was a stranger, not the woman I've known for 30 years. On a lighter note, right after I found out who the guy was, I sent him a friend request on Facebook and watched her phone explode with notifications. I hired the toughest lawyer. I knew a guy she despises because he deposed her in a friend's divorce case. He was thrilled when I handed over the photos and phone records. I gave her everything out of love, but I won't make that mistake again. I've told the older kids about her new boyfriend, but I'm struggling with how to break the news to the 12 and 17-year-olds. I've informed my partners that I'm taking some time off to be with the kids and reduce my income. The older kids have stopped talking to her. I've also told her siblings about her actions and informed our priests since she's a prominent figure in the church in social circles. Indeed, she's made her bed now she can share it with her new man. I've just sent an email to all her family members with the phone records and photos. Her party days are over. I wrote a letter detailing her affair and sent it to her Facebook, friends, family and priest. Tell us whether you find great excitement in this narrative. Press A if the video delighted you. If not, press B. Your comments really motivate me to compile more inspiring and significant narratives. I also called her brother. I went to the bank, opened a new account, transferred money and left town for a weekend medical conference. I informed the kids who weren't surprised I canceled the credit cards and listened to Eminem's I'm Not Afraid all day. It's a great song for anyone in a similar situation. Now, I'm focusing on the other guy. He's divorced, no family. I'm thinking of how to deal with him legally. Of course, I told my wife that my lawyer and I are looking forward to his deposition. I like the idea of packing her clothes in a trash bag and leaving them at his door. With a note, luckily, he's divorced with no kids. I know where he works. He has a security clearance for a defense contractor. Here I sent an email to the CEO. He can say goodbye to that security clearance. I told them they might want to check his security clearance at work this morning, as the military doesn't look kindly on adultery. Then I watched their phones light up with notifications. I thought a friendly email to the head of his HR department forwarded to the CEO wouldn't hurt. It's a small town. After all, one last thing on my to-do list. When I get back in town, I'm going to take the advice to dump her clothes at his place with a note after that. I'm done, guys out there. It's been a crazy week, but just go for it. Trust your instincts if you suspect she's cheating. She probably is. Do your research and follow the advice here. You'll find the peace you're seeking. Don't let these women walk all over you. Phone records, texts, photos of her car at his place on multiple occasions, them on the beach, and the best evidence. Finally, she tried to justify it. Her friend told my son, they have so much in common and she just hasn't been happy. My son told her where to stick it. She told her sister. It was my fault. I drove her to another man. Well, I'm back in town now. She's still acting all high and mighty, playing the victim, spreading the story that I drove her to it. Among other things, I was fat. Seriously, I'm 6 feet 240, hardly obese. I asked her how she could keep the $4,000 necklace I gave her for our anniversary 6 weeks ago. I told her. I thought it was a nice touch how she served me communion at church. All last month, she's playing mind games, trying to act like a teenager at her best friend's sister's house, but she's the one on the couch. I'm sleeping in my bed now. She's playing mind games big time, telling everyone I'm crazy. Her affair is all in my imagination. I checked her email as I suspected. She has 2 toxic female friends. The first one is a troublemaker whose husband is a pushover. The second one just got divorced from my wife's first boyfriend from 40 years ago. Before I came into the picture, her divorce was finalized 6 weeks ago, so she's coaching my wife. The kids are telling me she's going out to buy alcohol, even though her friends begged her not to drink at all. Right now, They think I'm trying to paint her as an unfit mom. I hadn't planned on it, found out she even shared the email with her girlfriends and they're all gossiping. How twisted is that she deserves an Oscar for this performance. Today's update: she told my best friend's wife in July she was leaving, wanted to do things for herself. Remember, she hasn't worked in 28 years, claims. I spent her inheritance. She spent it $40,000 in one afternoon buying art and jewelry. I hope I can find the receipts this week. The sense of entitlement is astounding. I found out she had an IT guy at the house today. I wonder what she's digging for. My laptop was with me all day. Any ideas on why she'd want to check my hard drive firewall? The IT guy used to be a network admin for Viper Technologies and is now freelancing. I found her cell conversation with him early in the day, then confirmed she's looking for some info. Since I got the evidence on her, she wasn't expecting that I'd just want the receipt for the $40,000 worth of jewelry she bought in one afternoon to show the judge how disconnected from reality she is. It's tough, being 3 hours away for another day since she could be selling my stuff, I guess, but I'm seeing my lawyer in him and he's a real, tough guy. I could file here in the city, which would be a different venue than the small town where we live and her family has been for 100 years. I'm going to see if I can get ahead of her since she's 2 lawyer visits ahead of me. How quickly can one file? Also, how do I get my name off the title to her car, so if she gets drunk and crashes it I'm not liable? Well, I'm home and she's stomping around like a toddler, burning up the cell, chatting with a new number. I suspect, is the other man hurt her? Tell whoever I love you. It's a new unlisted, got new password protected router, going to keep up the pressure. I'm wondering why she hasn't filed yet. It's been a month since she mentioned her lawyer needed my financial affidavit. I've seen zilch. I told her to have her lawyer contact mine, still nothing. I've decided to let her file first as she claims she would, so my kids will always know she was the one who ended it. Unless this drags on for another month, then I'll take the initiative. What's her game plan? Did her lawyer give her a reality check? Because between her first and second visits to him, I exposed the affair. I'm just trying to stay one step ahead of her game. I had my lawyer send a letter to hers and installed a new password-protected router last night. She was livid between that and finding out she had no money at the bank. Yesterday, my lawyer said cutting off the funds will speed up her actions. Good thing I did, because when I got home I found a receipt for a new Victoria's Secret bra from this week. We live in a conservative area and it's a no-fault state, so assets will be split. It 50-50, but her alimony claim just took a significant hit. The toughest part is doing the 180. With kids around. Any tips? I'm not being angry or hostile. In my interactions with her, just concise and direct. I engage in a bit of small talk which she responds to tersely. She's stomping around the house like a toddler in a tantrum, dripping with sarcasm. It's like watching an addict who's had their fix taken away. Should the kids be witnessing this, I'm careful not to badmouth her in front of the kids, but my son's football game is on Friday night and I don't want to be near her or even there, except for him. So how do I maintain the 180 around the kids? I just can't wrap my head around this limbo. She said she wanted a divorce, got caught red-handed, and now she's just being a distant, bitter person. She won't talk to me, no explanation, even when faced with the evidence and her telling my son all about the other man. I put on a brave face, but this is wearing me down too. I've lost 20 pounds in 4 weeks. I can't sleep. I keep having these intrusive thoughts. It's not so much self-doubt as it is exhaustion. I've been awake and it worked for 28 hours while she's been running around gaslighting. The latest news is that her favorite toxic friend came over yesterday. They're staying at the beach house in her family's compound and took my 12-year-old daughter with them. My daughter texted that she wants to see me. This toxic friend is my wife's puppet master. It's my wife's family compound where she's holed up with her toxic friend at the beach house my wife owns there, taking my daughter with them to my son's football game tonight. I assured my daughter that I'd be there tonight. I've got my voice-activated recorder on me. I'll definitely see my daughter. What a load of cowardly nonsense. This is the same beach house. I suggested my soon-to-be ex should move to 2 weeks ago, or she could move in with her toxic friend. I'm feeling a lot better. Tonight I showed up at the ballgame dressed sharp. We sat separately. She had my 12-year-old daughter and her toxic friend with her. My daughter texted that she wanted to sit with me. She asked her mom, who made excuses and said no, so I went and stood at the bottom of the aisle and looked at my soon-to-be ex. She couldn't meet my gaze for the first time. She looked genuinely guilty. I even saw a tear. My daughter tried to get up and was told no again, so I just kept staring at her and her friend, not saying a word. I was just 30 feet away. My daughter eventually came with me, and we had a good time. I found out that my soon-to-be ex now has a secret phone. She keeps in her lap, constantly texting. I felt nothing but contempt for her. She looked so lost in her addiction. I did text her that she should familiarize herself with the law before she tries to keep me from seeing my kids. I hadn't seen my daughter in 2 days. I feel better, ready to face anything. I might now go for full custody since I found out about the secret phone. I turned off her regular cell, told her if the kids need her, they can call the boyfriend line. Well, today's voice-activated recorder revelations are that this has been a long time in the making, concocted by her and her toxic friend. I wasn't meant to discover the affair and was supposed to have left 4 weeks ago when she said she wanted a swift divorce, so her new man could move in. And no kidding, his condo lease is ending. They're planning to fabricate a domestic issues claim against me to get me out. The husband of her toxic friend is supposed to confront me tonight about supposedly harassing his wife. I've already spoken to my lawyer. My recorder is on. If that doesn't work, they have a plan B. She's cracking now and calling her lawyer today. Seriously. You couldn't make this stuff up. You should hear her voice, so cold, so calculating. What a fool I've been. I'm going to have my 22-year-old son with me. He's in on the plan and knows not to react at all. Guess where my soon-to-be ex spent the day? At church, of course, with her toxic friend, and they even had her new man make a guest appearance. Honestly, it's taking all my self-control not to go to mass and start playing the recording. I swear I'm not making this stuff up. I wish every husband who suspects his wife is cheating could hear these recordings, while neither the new man nor the toxic friend's husband showed up. I think they're just going to proceed with Plan B on Monday when she tries to get money to move. Well, at least her toxic friend left, and I had a lovely dinner with my kids. What I don't understand is when I listen to the recordings, she's still whispering with her new man. I mean, why bother at this point? Everyone knows my voice-activated recorder is right by my bedside with my phone. I can't wait to hear tomorrow's recordings. I had my first full meal tonight. 9 days after day, I've lost 25 pounds in 4 weeks. My horoscope today said I'd find something I lost. I did my self-respect. I wonder if she'll ever feel any remorse in the future, feel any pain for the pain she's caused her children. Will she ever realize how low she's stooped? I take comfort in the fact that, statistically, only 10% of these affairs turn into a lasting relationship. I want her to feel our pain. Last night was tough, the nights always are, but the sun comes up. I confronted her about having her new man meet her at church yesterday, told her it was unacceptable. She said, okay, her first admission of guilt. I told her he was not to be around my children, period. I emailed the priest as well, told her if she thought she was going to take my house, kids' money, and just move on, that wasn't going to happen. She said our divorce was just between us two. I said nope, you brought a third party into our marriage. I spoke with my lawyer this morning and we're planning to force her to move this week and let her new man come play house with her backup plan. Let her push me out, let her new man move in, and then I stopped paying the mortgage, a war of attrition. So far, after the full exposure, I've cut off her resources. Her communication is compromised, she's rejected, and she's got a lonely husband. I don't care about her feelings. except I want her to crash and burn and realize what a foolish woman she's been. I want her to feel the pain she's inflicted on her children and me. She can go kick rocks. What's astonishing about this affair, Fog, is that my Sunto Bex was never this irrational before the past 9 months. One of the reasons I chose her as my wife was because she never played these silly games until now. This is like her evil doppelganger that I didn't know existed. It's like a scene from The Exorcist. She can't possibly think I'm that naive, but I realize she's not thinking clearly. She's addicted and her solution is her new man. Our priest called her Sunday night and she tried to gaslight him, but she keeps digging herself deeper and deeper. She denied everything, but the priest knows the evidence. I'm heading home to get the voice-activated recorder, then I'll be at the hospital for 24 hours. I came home early and she's acting strangely. She's going to her lawyers and running errands, then coming home. She says her lawyer advised her to take me to lunch and negotiate everything. She wants to keep it out of the courts. Says her lawyer will do it all for $1,500 and will be done in 30 days. She's proposing a 50-50 split of the kids' half of my retirement, equal division of debt and permanent alimony of half my income. She's still spinning tales. I let her know that I'm aware of her antics. She's so deep into this deception. It's like she's convinced herself it's true. I told her we'd continue the conversation later. She looks worn out, exhausted, thin. I told her she's free to call him. No need for whispers and sneaky behavior. Do I look like a fool? The fact that the kids are distancing themselves from her is hitting her hard. Time to play the waiting game, then ramp up the pressure, then go in for the final win. Can you believe she asked me to clean and fix her car this afternoon? Wanted to check out my new shoes? Unbelievable. She said if I loved her I'd let her make her own choices. She's trying all the feminine tricks, but she looks like a specter. Do I look like a fool? The emotional roller coaster continues. She cooks me dinner, serves me, then turns gloomy and irritable. She's upset about me exposing the affair that she claims isn't an affair. I throw back the evidence of her and her friend and she's so self-absorbed, correcting the broadcasters like a bipolar alien. I did a 180 and went to bed, then left for a 24-hour shift at work. After our afternoon chat, things seem a bit better. We both dished out and received some harsh words during our conversation. It's worth noting that throughout our marriage, we never really had any significant arguments. Clearly that wasn't a healthy dynamic. This morning, she's all smiles, bubbly, almost hyper. She even folded my laundry just a day ago. We had agreed that I should leave for the sake of peace. I think she wanted to be caught, knowing that the only way I divorce her was if she was involved with another man. She admitted she knew she was being watched. She acknowledged the photos and even admitted she knew she was being recorded. I'm not looking for a fight, but I made it clear that I had evidence of her actions. Our child still won't speak to her. Sadly, I still have feelings for her. I'm a nurturer, a healer, it's just who I am. I told her we'd be in each other's lives for the sake of our kids and wished we had more open conversations like this in the past year. Maybe then we wouldn't be in this situation. She's just testing me. I don't want to destroy her, but I did tell her yesterday that the extent of the lies and deceit was emotionally overwhelming for me, not to mention the other man. I told her I wanted to privately negotiate a settlement. If that's what she wanted, I let her know that I could use the evidence I had in court, but I wouldn't do that to our family. I've reached my limit, but what I truly desire is to mend things, but she's not open to it. Mick, I'm just trying to buy time at this point. The 180 approach would be simpler if the kids weren't around, so I'm giving it a shot. I've shared with her that the best 29 years of my life were spent with her this past year. Not so great, I'd say. We have a slim 5 to 10% chance of patching things up. How to navigate this while she's still in the fog is the question. I did blow the lid off the affair, emailed family, friends, our priest, the other man and his employer and our grown-up children. I've agreed in principle to a private settlement, but not the specifics. She's aware of the evidence I hold. I reserve the right to use it. I hope this will fizzle out. The alternative would be to head straight to court and argue every detail. I've assured the kids I won't do that. She agreed to hand over her second cell phone, told me she wants to return to school. I just wanted to reopen the lines of communication. I'm not moving out, as was planned for yesterday. I'll either be in my bed or on the floor in another room. I love the idea of making her jealous. My female colleagues tell me if she saw me with an attractive woman, now she'd lose it. I'm not going to discuss divorce or our relationship or any drama until she brings it up again. I can do the 180. It's just tough with the kids in the house, and given my personality type, I'm off with the kids for a 4-day trip to my eldest university homecoming. My soon-to Bex isn't joining us. Our daughter made it clear she's not invited. It's shaping up to be quite the weekend. One of her friends asked her if she's really going ahead with the divorce. She said yes, claiming I challenged her to cross a line. Her grievances with me over the past year were my evolving religious beliefs, my weight gain and my supposed dullness. I still attend church, but my beliefs have shifted. I had a chat with our priest who reassured me that my beliefs were my own. She, on the other hand, has rigid and unchanging views. I've also put on some weight and my diet at work isn't the best. I've become less active and more engrossed in reading about philosophy and religion, a midlife fascination. My spiritual perspective has matured since my 20s. That's all she ever voiced. Update. We met on Thursday and divided our household items, furniture, artwork, and so on. She then demanded $50 alimony, which had me in stitches. I told her there's no chance and that I'd see her in court. I admitted my part in our marital breakdown, and for the first time she admitted her part too. Tomorrow, I'm taking the kids to school and getting her some medicine. She's aware that I'm heading to the college homecoming with the kids. I instruct her to pack and get in the car, which she does at college. Our daughter refuses to speak to her, which results in tears. I end up sitting between them. We head out for dinner and drinks. I remind her that we'll have to share a bed, so the kids won't have to sleep on the floor, but I assure her I won't touch her. We get into bed and she tries to flirt, but I don't engage. The next day, we're still not close, but at least we're conversing. We attend a game where I enjoy the company of some lovely ladies. Later I take her shopping. She seems unwell and out of it. We go out for dinner and she starts sharing her food with me. Her birthday is tomorrow, but she tells me not to get her a gift. One of our kids texts her asking her to stop using me, which leaves her in tears. Tomorrow I have a meeting with a realtor at noon to secure an oceanfront condo. I yearn for her, but she's too distant now, so I'm moving to the condo this week. I crave emotional connection, but it's not happening now. If ever so, I'm going to work on my issues with codependency. She handed over her second cell phone for me to keep. I know I messed up this weekend by being nice, but I still love her. I can't do the 180 if I'm here, so getting a condo is crucial. Our mediator suggested she's in a state of disconnection and will hit rock bottom once I'm gone. I'm packing up and leaving on Tuesday. I'm leaving her to fend for herself. I still have feelings for her, but I'm hoping that with time and distance those feelings will fade. She wants her freedom but isn't footing the bill. I decided to move out to shield my kids from further drama. Plus, if she moves him in, my attorney can use that to our advantage. Also, I wanted to create a clear boundary. She's had it easy all these years, so it's time for her to face reality. I needed to focus on myself and I couldn't do that while still living there. I still love her inexplicably. I know I want to rebuild, but I also need to be prepared to move forward with my life. I guess there's a slim chance of reconciliation, but only if she's willing to change. I thought this was the best way to find out. It's day 3 since I moved out and I'm feeling much better. Things are looking up, except for the kids asking questions. The emotional roller coaster continues. I got an amazing new oceanfront condo yesterday, a beautiful 3-bedroom. One of my sons has already moved in with me. Then, while taking a walk on Ormond Beach, who do I run into but my soon-to-be ex and her other man? I turned and walked away. Considering my kids and my medical license, it was tough, so I did the next best thing. I bought a new car. Posted It online got some flirty messages and chatted. I was honest with them, but it felt good to converse with another woman. I've lost a significant amount of weight, going from 250 to 218 through diet and exercise. I've updated my wardrobe and got a fresh haircut. She, on the other hand, looks like she's wasting away. I didn't sign anything, told her to hand over the papers for my attorney to review. My main concern now is the kids she agreed to. Let me have them for the entire week. I'm thinking about creating some new holiday traditions for them. Update: life is pretty good. I'm having a blast with the kids, plus I've met a couple of lovely ladies on Match and had dinner with them. One of them had an ex-husband who pulled the same nonsense. I found a new best friend. Latest update. I've had more fun in the past month than I have in the last 5 years, keeping things casual. I'm currently seeing 6 different women for dinner and social events. I've lost 40 pounds, bought a new surfboard, and I'm living the beach life. As for my soon-to-be ex, she continues to be a pain. I limit my interactions with her to discussions about the kids and finances. Everyone in town says she looks miserable. Karma, right? I offered her a fair deal and we split all the property. She's insisting on an outrageous alimony amount. I rejected it, so she filed for divorce. She's got a bargain bin lawyer yesterday, when the moving van came to pick up my half of our stuff. She got emotional. What she's oblivious to is that her boyfriend spilled the beans to me because she's been leaving our 12-year-old daughter home alone to spend time with him. I've got a lot more information. Now, I've emailed the bishop to request her removal as a Eucharistic minister and Sunday school teacher. They had planned a cruise this week, thinking the divorce would be finalized by now. So he supposedly went alone. Last night, she's in a state of panic, telling her boyfriend she's losing everything. She admitted that I'm getting the kids. I've got a new house, the 4th one for the kids. What stings is her revisionist history of our marriage. She's been telling people that I was a great doctor, but a terrible father and husband. She even told church members she had to leave because I was abusing medication. All this for a guy she met on the beach in May. Update: things are going well so far. I've got a new waterfront home and shared custody. I've also met someone new. She's 41, I'm 53, a stunning blonde, with 2 daughters from her late husband. She's a lawyer and her family owns the local bank. I couldn't have written a better script. If I tried, my soon-to-be ex despises my new girlfriend, calling her a blonde bimbo. Meanwhile, she's still with her boyfriend, although he tells me he's pulling away as the court date approaches. We're heading to mediation soon. She's taking me to court on April 15th for temporary spousal support. She doesn't think the $6,500 a month I've been giving her since October is sufficient. She's lost weight down to 113 pounds and looks like a hag. Quick update. The deceitful woman dragged me to court demanding $10,000 a month. The result: she got $4,500 a month and the judge ordered her to pay half the mortgage. She argued with the judge that she couldn't afford it, so the judge asked her if she had another place to live. She looked utterly stunned. Absolutely priceless. Florida is ending permanent alimony on July 1st. She's in a tight spot. Karma is finally catching up to her, plus the female judge saw right through her adulterous plot. The kids still avoid her. Her support network has dwindled down to just her sister and cousin, but even her sister recognizes she's in a bad state. She's also started drinking heavily. She told her boyfriend she doesn't want this to go to open court, so I made sure to inform the judge about her lover. Her attorney tried to attack my relationship with my lovely blonde girlfriend, accusing me of spending money on her. I looked straight at my wife and responded, "No, she's wealthy and takes care of me." My attorney now plans to depose her before May 30th, hoping to pressure her to settle out of court for around $3,000 to $3,500, plus I'm going after my share of the real estate holdings she inherited 25 years ago, which I've been paying taxes on and improving the value of. She'll have to buy me out or kiss her alimony goodbye. Looks like someone's heading back to work. I'm doing great sitting on my dock tonight, puffing on a cigar. While my girlfriend and kids are inside watching TV, meanwhile, my soon-to-be-ex is dealing with the mess she made. She and her lover are now at odds according to her boyfriend, plus she walked into the same sushi bar where my kids and I were enjoying sushi along with my stunning lawyer girlfriend. It almost feels too good to be true. The kids ignored her. She ate alone. Mediation predictably reached a deadlock, so court was the next step, but she's been stalling. Since her lawyer told her the temporary support was the best she could hope for, and it's only downhill from there, so she's in a real bind, which is exactly where every cheater should be. Life is good. I count my blessings every day. My lawyer is getting ready to depose my ex and her lover. Yes, I'll be there. She threw away a 30-year marriage, family, long-term friends, and rewrote our marital history. I wonder what she'll look like a year from now. She despises me. I wonder if it's because my girlfriend is beautiful and 12 years younger. My ex nearly jumped out of her chair when my girlfriend testified that we just returned from my daughter's college parents' weekend update. Judgment day has arrived. I'm officially divorced. My ex only got a little over half of what she asked for in permanent monthly alimony since we're in Florida. It's $500 per kid and she's responsible for 49 of the kids' medical, orthodontic and dental expenses. The funny thing is, during mediation, she was offered the same amount as non-modifiable alimony, meaning she could have remarried and still received it until age 70, but she turned it down. I bet she's regretting that now. I guess I did all right. Half a year later, my girlfriend and I are engaged and navigating the challenges of a blended family. We're trying to get our 4 teenage girls to get along, 2 of mine and 2 of hers. That's going better now. My ex looks like she's been on something hard. People tell me they don't even recognize her. Her ribs are showing and her face looks sunken and wrinkled. My dad passed away in July. He was 93 suddenly. My ex was calling me, wanting to be there for me. She came to the funeral home visitation for 2 hours, then to my parents' house after the funeral for 4 hours. I ignored her. My fiancé was furious that she showed up. The only lingering emotional issue for me is that my ex has been showing up to my kids' football games with my kids, who won't talk to or interact with her at all. I fight the urge to punch her in the nose for all the pain she caused. My kids, those 2 cheaters, are incredibly selfish. I get that it's a public venue, but seriously, after no contact other than kid stuff. She suddenly asked me at the game last week if I was there to sit with her and our other kid, which I did since it was the child's birthday. Then she invited me to our kid's birthday dinner and wouldn't stop adding as if we had no history. She made a big show of handing me a $192 check for our older son's college tuition. She even drove it to my house despite me telling her to just mail it. I'm like, what's your deal? Apart from being a narcissist seeking attention, I can't make sense of her. She's never really apologized. At one point right after day, I admitted to not meeting her emotional needs, contributing to our marriage's downfall. She mumbled an agreement through fake tears. After that, she was all venom and lies, justifying her friendship. My take: he handled the whole affair like a champ. He came out on top and she slithered away like the rat. She is. I hope he's happy with his new woman wherever he is and whatever he's doing. Judging by what's here, she threw everything away for nothing. What does she have now? A cheating partner, no kids, and a vanished lifestyle? She gets to watch her ex and his new girlfriend while she gets nothing. Serves her right. I'm going to turn this one over to you. What do you make of this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, support, and time mean the world to me. So, thank you so much for being part of this. I really appreciate your time. I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.